Well, there you go. So silver has done it convincingly. I always thought 32.50 to 33 was the level. I was looking for 33 just to really clear the absolute high we put in last time here, 32.9, but also a big round number. But I mean, here, above 33.5, extremely convincing stuff. Silver closing a high of day, up 6+%. Amazing. It was already, I mean, not already, but it was weak just before relative to gold. It wanted that sort of confirmation from gold, even when gold was above 2,700. Still, and then all of a sudden, bam, bam, beautiful. This is a real squeeze. Was it just for today? Probably not. That's the good news. Normally when you see a big move in silver, you can get that second day, but I think we're all quite used to giving back, giving back. I don't know. This is huge. Like all the stars are aligned. Gold closed above 2,700. Just look at the weekly. It doesn't really matter weekly. I mean, we're going to look at the next levels. I've already drawn them, and I thought I was almost a bit arrogant to draw them, but they are immediately uh needed. So I was actually looking at the next one, 34 point. I remember this one, 34.4-ish. I'll stick with that for now. I mean, I wasn't going to go into too much detail into silver's next levels, but actually it's becoming that urgent. Yeah, I think he got something. Well, no, that's where we close. Yeah, it's up here, 34.44, maybe 34.3. It's above 34 though. I want to say 34.3, right? And after that, yeah, you've got this absolute high, but let's be honest, 35 is the level, isn't it? 35. Look how many times we hit that and came back down. I should move that one lower. It's actually 35. Why did I have it there? Yeah, maybe because of these highs here. No, I think that, if you want to sell, I mean, it will retrace. And I think now we can agree 32.5/33 should be support. I don't see us having a massive move down on Monday. This was too convincing, too long overdue to have such a quick retest of support, prior resistance. I don't see that happening. We could have gold like just because gold has no level. Gold is just 3,000. By the way, I usually start my videos with dollar and yields. I just skipped it. I mean, just all in fairness to silver. Silver's just done this move regardless of the dollar and yields. And I checked them out. It was, what I expected basically. Yields went back to support. They bounced. The dollar was hitting resistance. It kind of had a red day. So what? Silver's just done this move regardless. So that's what I'm looking at here. 33.3-ish, 35 on the way up. SLV, I know we don't care too much about SLV because it's all about silver, but you need that Western demand and it's always in ETFs. And SLV broke out of 30. There it is, which for me was the same as 33. This was your 32.5 in silver, and that was your 33. So, and again, we cleared it. And after hours were even higher than high of day. So, extremely bullish, despite having a huge move up already. I think we're going to have some continuation. Gold, just what can you say? Just another breakout, big candle, closing the week high of day, a high of week high of day. Nothing in sight except big round numbers, 2,800. I don't even think the dollar yields unless you have some massive market drop and people panic and they sell anything, then you get some people just selling gold and silver because they need to sell their winners to cover big losses, margin calls, or whatever. Or we have surprise peace treaty in Ukraine, or something like that. I just don't see any of that happening, and nothing else can really stop what's in full effect. So, and it's a silver squeeze. That's what you've got in full effect. And we saw it in the miners. Thankfully, it wasn't just, the metals going up. It was silver doing 6 times better than gold. That's bullish. And you had the miners outperforming. You could have had SILJ do a bit better, but some miners, and I'll go through them when let's start with, I always start with GDX. I should just start with GDX, shouldn't I? But they're getting quite boring now. Have you noticed the seniors, the Agnico-Eagle, and this is good. This is phase two of the bull market. Phase one is like the seniors just running the show and everyone else just staying down there, juniors, discoverers, explorers just not moving, going down whilst the gold price goes up, everyone getting pissed off. Seniors going all the way up, the best royalties going all the way up. But now you got the mid tiers, and I'm in both. I'll get to my portfolio. It's really nice. It's really nice. I'm sure all of you guys are doing great. My portfolio is absolutely beautiful. Okay, so GDXJ, look at this, look at this. Just starts on what was prior resistance at the levels just nailed and moved all the way up to the next one, right? It's just filled up my little levels perfectly. So basically here you got 452, which just opens up at 52-ish, moves all the way up to the next level, which to me is 54 point something, about 5. You can see why I've had this in before. And my next level, I got 55.8, let's call it 56, right? Which is actually 55.8. I remember this one's not actually 56. So there you go. And we already touched this one up here. Sort of didn't close at high of day, but we're pretty much, no, we did actually. Sorry. I mean, look at after hours. We're pretty much there. For me, continuation. I mean, look, if we go down, support will be 52. I don't think we'll get there. We could have like a big drop. If we have a big drop Monday, Tuesday, it'll just get dip bought, straight away. That dip will get bought. And I think the next level you're looking at is 56. And the way things are going, I need to start adding in more. So now that I can just take advantage, 50 point, go on, something like this. Next one. And you know what? Today I was out on a bike ride just before the market opened. I could see what was going on, but we didn't have our big move yet because it was a tale of like today was split between two segments. I would say you had the initial pop and then you had the secondary pop, which is another 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7% in the stocks, depending on which one. So, pre-market, I could see it was a green day, but I didn't expect it to end this well with quite a few stocks up double percentage points. And thank God I had my levels in because I had to rush to trim. I trimmed today. I trimmed because remember, I bought the dip. I might as well show you here. I bought this dip here, right? Just to make a general comment. I kind of bought this dip, right? And maybe I started a bit early, but I bought that drop. And I was telling you guys, I was in extremely heavy. I was basically all in the way I could see it. And this breakout, I mean, I like to sell breakout in case it goes wrong, because when you look at the daily and you see something being a fake out, right? A reversal, it's not obvious when it's happening. So I sometimes trim breakout if I'm not sure, in case it becomes a fake out. But in this case, I was way too heavy today. So I was trimming, but I knew that I'm completely convinced that this breakout's happening, which is why I bought that dip. So as it continued, I sold this part extremely light, right? Basically, I sold some of my stocks 10% on this breakout, even though I'm convinced we're going to 35, 38, 40, just for risk management purposes. I was like way too heavy, more than I've ever been in my life. Instead of being 100% allocated, I was like 120 or something. So I had to trim. My objective today was to trim 10%, and I sold 5% of some stocks here and the rest of the 5 towards the high of day. I mean, I could even add some now, do more sales to fully make it more than 10%. But I'm not, I still think we're going to go higher early next week and I'm going to sell a bit more. So I don't want my miners to be worth too much. I prefer to have more sidelines. I don't have enough sidelines. I don't have enough cash on the sidelines. And it's great because what a time to be all in. We've got massive moves. So that's GDXJ. SILJ, even better, right? Right out of resistance, close at high of day, after hours, even better. How much more percentage move is that? SILJ is the most important one, I would say. I mean, look, it's 3% till the actual level. Is that a level? Am I right? Maybe not. Why do I like this level? Big round number 15. You can see many times we've touched it, but actually the real level is up here. 15.5. Can we get there? Can we have another crazy day on Monday? 6%. That's pretty much what we've done today. That's asking a lot. I don't think we can do that in one big go, maybe 2 days, 2 up days. I think we'll get to 15 though. So I may trim. There's one or two that are still worth too much. I didn't get to sell everything because I have like 20, you can count them all. I got more than 20 stocks. I just don't go around selling all of them at whatever price. Every single stock has its individual resistance point, right? So I was selling those where they were at resistance, they were worth too much. Okay, sell. I don't care if it's 1 or 2 cents off, just sell. But some of them they had to still move 20 cents to get to, and those I didn't sell yet because I don't want to just hurriedly sell too early. This is a breakout. We're going to go to 40, we're going to go to 50. I take my time. I let the shorts hurry when it comes to covering. So I think we can get to 15, and I think I'll sell some of them at 15. You know, some of the stocks that I didn't get to sell yet, I think we get to 15. That's 3% extra. We closed a high of day week. It's a squeeze. It's Friday. They're gonna panic Monday. So that's what I'm looking for. But in case we keep going, next one is 1550. In case you're wondering, after that, it's pre-gap fill 16 point something, and then gap fill, let's call it 16.7, etc., etc. We're not going to go that far up that fast. All right, GDX, which, like I've just said, is getting more boring compared to the SILJs since everything's really rocketing now. The mid-tier silvers is beautiful. I'm not interested in the juniors. I still look at the juniors, you know, and some of the ones that I was in still at rock bottom, lower lows, despite us squeezing up here, you know, it's horrible. There are obviously some good silver stocks that I don't own, but still they made the same percentage moves as some of the mid-tiers, like First Majestic, which we'll get to in a second, EXK, right? The CDEs, the Hecklers, the Fortunas, they're all basically 10% thereabouts, some of them more. And, you know, some of these, what is it, aftermath silver that I don't own that I know is good, high risk, but they're probably the best ones. They were also up 10, 15%. So why be in them if the mid tiers are safer and go up even more, just about the same? But yeah, for GDX, the seniors, they weren't up too much. Here you can see a nice candle though. And again, it fits the others, opens at resistance, very bullish, tests what I see as resistance. I'm going to say 43.5-ish, closes just below. Yeah, that's why. Next one, I've got all the way up here, 45.8, thereabouts. Again, Monday, let's see what happens. There you go. Let's look at the actual portfolio. It's a beautiful thing. Starting off with the seniors that were a little boring compared to some of the a little aggressive uh Yorkshire Terriers we've got down there. So this one here, Newmont's been outperforming generally the sector and all that. Not, I mean, it didn't have the same kind of candle as the GDX. It didn't exactly open at resistance. It opened at support, you know, because it's already outperformed. So, but still closed above all the other candles. 58 seems to be resistance. Now we can move that up. 58 is the resistance. What happens after? I don't really think I've got anything else after that. I find it really hard to find Newmont's resistance. I I don't know. I just don't know. It's quite hard to call. It could be 60, couldn't it? Should be 60. It's quite hard to call Newmont's. See, normally I'd say something like this, 59. Is that 59.5? Or is it up there? 61.5. It's not that easy. I'll do little lines here because it's going to be better to have them. Because when it's emergency, I can quickly bring up the chart and just see some resistance. These are kind of resistance points, but they're so weak. I don't see anything substantial. Or maybe it's best to just leave it. I might just leave Newmont. I'm just not sure. I don't want to force it. I'll extend this one because it's a good midway point from the other two that I was sufficiently confident enough to extend the line, but I'm going to leave this one in. But otherwise, I guess 59.5. God, go on, put that one in 59.5. About there. Just little levels. I'll remember that it's little levels, nothing too trustworthy, not too obvious. But I didn't even look at support. Look at that. That's a sign of the times we're in. Support is obviously going to be prior resistance. It's going to be 56 point, let's say 4-ish. 56.4 should be support. If we keep going down, then I'm going to say, go on, let's just mark it. If we keep going down, it's going to be, well, the gap fill, it'll go more than that. It'll be prior support. I mean, be the ascending support there. Okay, Barrick Gold. Yeah, well, it's still, and you know, Barrick Gold's been underperforming. It had bad news recently, but still, when everything's going up that much, you have no choice but to join the party. Resistance is clearly 2120. Next stop is to close above it. Let's reset the chart. After we close above, Then, and to be honest, we've got all the reasons to believe a big move. Yeah, 23.50. Come on, that's incredibly obvious. That's it. 21.20, 23.50. After that, it's going to be 26. There you go. It's simple. Long overdue. Where's your support? It's, well, real support, yeah, is down here, but it's probably going to find support before then. But it should not be looking for support. And a retracement, to be honest, you should start finding support at 20.5, which is where it came from today, because I mean, we've had a crazy move. You shouldn't be really going too much. It's got catching up to do. It's got catching up to do. Okay, next one, Agnico-Eagle. At least this one made a new high. Resistance was this 85, sort of 15-ish zone. Closed above it, closed above 86. That's nice. This is one that I need to sell because it's worth way too much. I'm looking to sell here, which is the all-time high. The absolute historic all-time high set there, right? Post-COVID, massive sell-off there. As soon as it touched it, reversed it. It's quite an aggressive candle. Um, where is it? There. Oh yeah, that's your high, basically. 89.30. I think I got my sell at 88.89 or 88.99, something like that. So that's my Agnico-Eagle sell. Otherwise, support is going to be prior resistance. It's going to be 85. And if we keep going down, probably something like 82. And if it keeps going more than that, I don't see this as support anymore. Then it's going to be the old lows down here. There you go. Support on the way down, resistance on the way up. Only one resistance. After that, it's just 90 is not resistance. It's way too close. The last all-time high is way too close already as resistance. So 90 will go straight through that. Probably 100. Right, Pan American Silver. This one was very important because this one is one of my favorite stocks. It's probably the best silver senior stock. It was underperforming for some time. It used to outperform back then it was underperforming, then it had bad news, or the market interpreted it as bad news. But today it set the record straight. Basically, it said, I don't give a shit what you think about the news or whatever. The chart says we are going higher, right? We made a new high. This is beautiful. Silver's behind us. The news is behind us. Next stop, I've got up here, 26 bucks. After that, 30. 26 is pretty clear. It's a big number. 30 is a bigger number. And resistance is also clear. I'm not going to go for the little moves in between on this one. I trimmed a little bit here today because this one's worth the most out of my entire portfolio. I bought in quite a bit on this one. On the last drop also, but yeah, it's worth too much still. Like, I sold some today, but what I sold is what it made me today. So I'm still stuck with the same dilemma. It's worth the same amount, literally almost to the cent, the same amount now as it was worth before the day started. So that's what gives you an idea of how much I sold maybe today, up, wow, pretty much 11%. So this looks amazing. Where is going to be your support? Well, it's going to be prior resistance, probably there too. Down there, it will never go low, but let's just add the ascending support. By the time it gets there, something like this, all these can go now. We are not moving down. I wasn't so sure a few days ago. It was almost a 50-50, but now it's almost 100% that we keep going up. So let's look at resistance. Yeah, 26 and 30. There you go. Those are all the levels I'm watching on Pan America. Beautiful thing to watch it. And again, today, it was like a tale of two periods. It's sort of the initial pop. What did I see initially? Initial pop. Maybe it was here. Yeah, I think it was here. And then it just, Jesus, and they all did this. Beautiful. All right, next one, Wheaton. Just, goes straight through resistance, new all-time historic high. I don't know where your support resistance is. I'm not going to start doing Fibonacci extensions and all that. It's all right. I'm in no hurry. I hold this a medium amount. It should actually be worth 5K. It's worth 4.5. So it should be like maximum 5K and it's 4.5. And just to give you an idea, these seniors here, they're supposed to be like max 5, but Pan America is still above 6. The others are 5.5. So Wheaton and Franco Nevada, They're supposed to be also 5, but yeah, Wheaton. I just never added too much on the drop. I think I was buying others instead because these are just seniors. But to be honest, it's 4.5% is pretty good today. When I was talking about this, the seniors not really performing as well. Newmont, Barrick, Agnico did quite well, but yeah, Newmont and Barrick, they're well established top 5 senior GDX stocks. And when you look at all these silver stocks, which I'll get to, and there are some you can't see that have just as good percentage moves, it's quite boring to have 1 or 2%. You got 15, 16, some of them was 17 or something, just crazy stuff. So yeah, Wheaton, what can I say? I'm just going to cover support. So I would say something like this. I don't really want to do the midpoint. I just leave it like that. Actually, no, knowing Wheaton is going to get bought on the dip, so maybe that does end up being a bit of support, but I'm in no hurry to buy it. So there you go. I'm not going to cover resistance because I don't know where it is. It's just going to be when GDX hits resistance. That's when Wheaton will start to exhaust itself and come back down. And no point in saying, oh, well, it probably 70 probably would be, of course, the big round numbers. Franco Nevada. Finally, Jesus Christ, what does it take to take this one above 130 on a closing basis? And here it's done on a daily, weekly. I trimmed 129.99 today. I did that. This is not because this is not exactly a stock which I'm too heavy in. It's just how many times have we hit 130? Again, I know that when you keep going up, I was trying to trim some from everywhere. Franco Nevada, I'm not too heavy, but it still made me a couple $100 recently, so I just took that off. Nothing special, nothing personal. And now it's free to move until 140. And that's where the next sell is. So nothing dramatic. But yeah, 130 is done. It even took out the real high of the last couple of months, which is 131.65-ish. And we closed above the next big round number, which is 132. So 132 close. Beautiful after hours, even higher. Beautiful stuff. Support. Yes, a little bit of support here, nothing crazy. Bigger support here for sure. For sure. 118. And then after that, 114. We're not going to 114. We're not even going to 118. But anyway, support and resistance, support covered. Resistance, well, actually, the first level of support is going to be 130 now. So this will now be support. Resistance 140. I'm not really interested in anything before then. It could stop off a little bit. I don't know, 135.8 maybe, but I don't see much point or too much of a reason to stop off there. It could just do an intraday stop off, but on a daily, it's probably going to want to start catching up now because everyone's making new highs. Right, Metalla. Now this one, I've loved it, hated it, and loved it again, and now I absolutely still love it. So we had this nice part. I don't know where to start, but let's start on this big candle. Boom, up we go. Outperforming, consolidating. Wasn't sure which way gold and silver was going to run. Holding, bam. Today we got exactly what we wanted. A nice big move, 9%. It was up more actually, and it's going to go towards 4. Now this was worth quite a lot for me today, so I trimmed a little bit. I need to know where I sold it. I'm pretty sure I sold it near where it is now. I may have done 3.90 if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, I still see it going to 4. I still see it going to 4. So I think what I wanted to sell, I sold half at 390 and the other half is going to be 399. I expect to go straight through 399. Next stop is going to be 4.39 for me. I don't do big round numbers. And in fact, sometimes I feel like 3.9 is pushing it a bit too much. Like this one here, I'd probably do it 3.8. So 399 and 438, little cuts, little cuts. So it makes imagine I'm up $400 on the day. I'll take 100 shares out, exactly what I made, or 75, and then the next day another 75. Just little cuts, little cuts. It's such a beautiful thing. And then on the way down, same thing, cut your way back in. But yeah, so support, so resistance, I think I covered $4 and 440, hence why I'm selling 1 or 2 cents below. Support, well, is that really support? Is that really support? Maybe. But that's, you don't want to buy there. I don't know. That should be a little bounce zone. Next one, I would say from where it came, 3.6. Maybe. Yeah, like I said, small cuts. I wouldn't be sure. And then otherwise, like, you know what? Why bother? You have the ascending coming up anyway. This is probably there. Move that up. That takes care of this low. So you got this low, you got this resistance high, and you got the ascending. So this actually should be a big area of support, if I'm allowed to do that. This, I would leave it. You've already bought there, give it some room. Yeah. So in case you're buying the drop, that's what I'd look at. I don't see it going to 316 at all, but that would be a seriously nice place to buy. But I'd be a bit worried if it's there, to be honest. Wouldn't make much sense. All right, let's get to the silver stocks. So first Majestic. This I'll take a sip of tea. I always said 680. We touched it. It then got weak, and today it made up for everything. And it wasn't exact. I remember pre-market. These things were up 1.5%. I know most of you guys in America, you wake up, maybe you don't see pre-market, but I'm there watching it for 2, 3 hours, not tick by tick, but I'll check now and then. I saw silver, I saw gold. I thought today would be the day where we do it. I didn't expect this kind of result. This is beautiful, but I was seeing First Majestic EXK up 1.75, 2, nothing was up 3%. And here we go. Here we go, 15 point something percent. So look at the 3-minute chart. It's beautiful. All right, back to the daily. So this I can delete. This I can delete. Those were levels. The real one was 6.8-ish, right? Give or take 5, 10 cents max. Clearly that was correct. We broke out clearly, even above 7 by quite a lot. Okay, let's just cover resistance because we're obviously going up. Next up is 7, for me, is 7.64-ish. I would sell normally at 7.59 just to be sure, but I think I'm going to go for 6.4. I think I've got a good till cancel selling. Tiny things, tiny stuff, because these are worth a lot. First Majestic, I bought back heavy. I bought back heavy. It's worth still more than it should be after the trims today. I sold maybe, I did probably 35 sells. That's how many cuts I did across. So I'm not going to look at all of them or recite them all. But this one I did trim, but it's still worth, like the other ones, it's still worth pretty much the same as it was worth before today started. So where did it close on Thursday? It's like 6.34. Now we're at 7.34, basically $1 higher. So resistance, I've got 7.65-ish, let's say. Next up, 809. Again, probably might as well do 8 if you really want to get out. And then after that, I got 8.44. So I'd probably sell it 8, honestly, here, probably 839. Here, I'd probably sell it 808, if that really is 809 or 810. And this one here, I'd probably sell at 763 or 4. Trim, trim, trim. Probably all worth the same amount. And it will still be worth at that point quite heavy. So I'm just really convinced, the buybacks, all the bad news is over. It's First Majestic. It's squeezy time. It's done it in the past. I was in it, by the way. I did say this before, but I was in the silver squeeze from, I don't even know when it was, like Sunday night. There was some stocks up 20, 30% pre-market. I was trimming into that breakout. Yes. And it went down straight away. It never, as soon as the open came, like the high was pre-market way before the market opened. So this time I think the silver squeeze is real. It already is more real now than it was back then. And I think we're going to continue, but still, I want to trim into it. But, trimming is just because it's a habit, it's a hobby almost. But I still think we're going up. So after we get through this 8.45, next up 9, obviously big round number. You can see the resistance there, right? I think I left it back at 9 just to be sure I set it at 9. And after that, I got the high of this entire period, which is 9.78, probably something like that, before the all-important and psychological 10. It might not get to 10. It will eventually get to 10, but it might just retrace and then take 1 or 2 weeks to get back up there. But then after that, it's all about this 14, 14.5 zone. It is coming. I'm sure of it. And look at what this candle looks like today. Like you can see it. You can see the development. You can see it's possible to get to 14 just from today's candle. Here's the weekly, you know, of course, just do little steps. 1, 2, 3, back one. 1, 2, back one, and then bam. Yeah, I have high hopes for First Majestic. So there you go. There's your resistance. Support. Again, it's going to be the prior resistance, so 6.8-ish, right? So that would be your support. And after that, again, I don't see why we'd come all the way down, but let's extend the ascending. It's basically going to be about here. I think I'll just leave it at that. Don't see any point in covering any other lows. I'll just do this in case. Okay, next one is Fortuna. Yeah, pretty good. Fortuna is for me a weakling, but it's done its job, which is to go all the way back up. Regardless of its own personal micro news, it's a silver move. So it takes a straight to resistance. I trimmed it because it's weak. It's not one of my heaviest holdings at all. It's worth like medium average. I still trimmed it because, and I trimmed what it made me. So again, it's like worth the same amount. That's how I feel a bit invincible. I just sell what I made that day. If it goes down, cool, I can buy back. If it goes up, cool, I'll sell more. You know, worst case scenario, it goes up. Worst case scenario, I make money. So resistance was 5.15, I think. We closed thereabouts. Actually, we're up above that after hours. We did pop our head above. For me, it's not yet guaranteed further breakout, but I do feel like silver will do it. So next up is 550, but we're not going to get to 50. It'll be just below. It's probably worth selling at 544 or something. I think I have my selling at 539 just to make sure I get filled and then I don't care about this next 6%, next 6 cent move. So actually 539, yeah, I remember this. 539 is what I'm selling just because it's a bit weak. And then if it gets to the gap fill, yes, I'll sell that just before we fill the gap. So maybe 579. Otherwise, if everything's strong, 583, 584. And if somehow we keep going, maybe not the same day, but later on, then it's the 630 sell. So 629, something like that. 629, 628. That's what I got on the upside. Now, 14, no point in zooming out. It's going to take an enormous amount of strength to get to there. Support, well, support is going to be the bottom of this candle. And the real heavy support will be below that, the ascending. I don't think there's any point in doing anything else. That's Fortuna. Now, my favorite one. Yeah, CDE. So CDE did what CDE does. It just went up, 9, 10%, and then it asks questions later. The thing is, it's not at its old high. We know why. It had bad news. I don't think it's bad news, but I never read too much into the news, so I'm not a good judge of news. But I don't think it's bad news. I think it might even be good news. But that's why we're still one big move away from our old high at 770. To be honest, it's been outperforming everything for ages, so it's allowed to be one day behind. Now, if we have continuation on Monday, we are straight away at 770. How much of a percentage move is that? 670%. It's a little bit less than today. Pretty much the same thing, though. That's doable. That's doable for sure. So resistance is up here, old high, 770. If we keep going, see, now I gotta look at things I've never really looked at for. I mean, I drew this in, but how much was I really thinking? I I don't see any obvious. I got some old lines in here. Don't see anything obvious here. Maybe on a weekly. 850. No, not really. 9. Well, you might as well just be here because that's the descending. It's pretty much the same price. I think it's correct to just leave it as it is. You take out this 7. Actually, that's incorrect. Anna, this high here is higher than this high there. Okay, you take out 780, 770. You keep running the next day. This is a level 8. You can see it. Support. Sorry, bit live here. So you can clearly see the support from here and the resistance here. That's so close to that that you shouldn't even sell it. If I'm selling, which I am, 769, you're not really going to bother with 8. But anyway, keep going, 850. There's something there. There's something there. Hit it there. Hit it there. It's resistance there. There's something there. You keep going and you got the high there, which coincides with this 925. Go on. It's just because I really care about CDE. But I need to get some perspective too. Because if I'm setting all these little levels, I'm going to zoom out and see what I'm really doing here. Am I making too much of a fuss? I know there's a lot of dilution here and it's never going to go up here, but still, I think I'll leave it in. I can always do little trims. It's always worked in the past. Okay, little cells, little cells, little cells. There you go. That's every possible resistance I see. The most important one being this one here, the big descending, right? Big descending here. Depends how long it takes to get there. Already now you can see it should be a bit more to the right. Soon it might end up just being $9. There you go. That's what I for support. Support, yes, I would say 680 that it's just taken out. And then possibly here. Well, yeah, which is the low of the candle. There you go. Okay. Well, these don't really matter anymore. We're not going down there. Okay, that's CDE. Next one, Hecla. So Hecla also testing its highs. I also trimmed it at its highs. Let's do support first. Support will be the ascending and the low base of this candle. So that's about there. If we keep going down, we're going much lower. And we're probably going to take us back down to this important level. That's clear support. And I'll just leave it at that. I don't see us going lower than that, but there you go. Resistance on the way up after this. Yes, we have the other high of 770. Let's put that in roughly here. If we keep going, $8, not really. Plus you just sold at 770. Now you keep going, 8, bam, pre-gap fill 8.5-ish, 8.44, 8.44. Yeah. A gap fill, it's so small it doesn't count. Keep going. Is 9 a level? Maybe. Is 950? Definitely. Is 9 a level at Hecla? Maybe. Maybe. Go on, why not? Whatever you want to sell at 950. Imagine you want to sell 100 shares at 950. Sell 50 now and sell the other 50 at 9. That means you got 100 shares at 925 instead of 950. But what if it only goes to 910 and never goes to 950? At least you sold 50 and not 0. So split it up if you're unsure. That's what I'm going to do here. It depends the flavor of the day. If silver's just going crazy, of course, we're going to go straight through 9, straight to 950 and probably even higher, right? Hecla's been high before. 11, 1150, 13. Yeah, we're going to get there. Next one, EXK. Look at this, just destruction of the chart. I never thought we'd get back from it. Bam. Okay, support is prior resistance. The resistance we just took out today, 460. If it keeps going lower, we'll bring up the yellows from below. The bottom of this candle. If it keeps going lower, uh, hmm, this base here. takes that out, to be honest, that's pretty bearish stuff. I would leave that alone. Even coming down here would be pretty bearish, I think. If you close below this candle in the next couple, I mean, ever, I think it's pretty bearish. We may never see that happen. But yeah, this would be a support level. You got to extend this. Okay, that'll do. This, you wouldn't really be buying there. It's going all the way down here. I don't think anyone would have the balls to do that, to be honest. Okay, that's EXK on the way up. Yeah, so obviously let's take out close above 480. I still think that's not done, but that's done Monday. And then 5, close above 5. Then what? I haven't even seen this yet. Then you'd think 550, but no. 569. I agree with that. 569. And after that, well, it's going to be this high here, which is not $6. It's just below. So I'd be selling at 594 or something. And then after that, 650. Okay, we don't need to care about that just yet. But I will pencil in the resistance here at $6 on EXK. That is just over $1 higher than where we are now. These things move. It could become relevant next week. So it's always good to have that. Mag Silver, I think I'm spending too long on these support zones. I really don't think it's going to matter too much more than just the resistance that we've taken out on each stock. So here, Mag Silver, where's your resistance? Well, it's 16. Sorry, where's your support? It's 16. It would have been 16.20, but I'm just going to make a bit of an average. $16. Where's the resistance? Well, $17. Nice and simple. If we keep going lower, 14 is a bit too much, isn't it? Just wondering if you have a 15-minute ascending here. Maybe that's something that can help us on the way down. Yeah, okay. Up there, resistance support after this. Okay, this is a level of support. I don't think we're going to get there. There's probably something in between, but I don't want to put it in yet. 15.5. It's okay. I'll leave it like that. Let's clear it up a little bit. And I'll go lower. Okay, that'll do. And by the way, after 17, what about after 17? Mag Silver, I've already got that in 1850. I think I've had a good till cancel sell in for 1850 already because I've already sold the move to 17. I forgot what I got, 16.8 something, I'm sure. I've forgotten actually. But yeah, next one is 1850. Okay, now silver stocks are complete, but we still have some interesting ones. Aris Mining was a bit of a whimper. I'd expect more, but at least I had an up day. Didn't have any red miners. Jesus, can you imagine that? Close, not near high of day, but it's a bit illiquid. Got always a bit of a strange spread. I still think it's going up here $5. So I think I've got a 4.99 sell in. And then this up here, the new, most recent high of 5.15-ish. I think I've got to sell in just below that, 5.09 or 5.13, something like that. Because after this, again, after this, and by the way, this resistance here stretches out to these guys. It's quite relevant. I think after this, we just storm up to, yeah, above $6. So I'm going to leave this one. It's not worth that much. I think it's the lowest holding, lowest valued miner I have because the others are just better buys or they're just more established. But I still have enough here to make good money because I still think there's a lot that can be done. I mean, look at this move, it'd be huge. But I don't see any resistance. So once we clear this 520-ish zone, should get really exciting. Support, I'm just going to leave the low here. And if we lose that, then yeah, we've got 1 or 2 down here. Again, I don't see any of the miners really taking out the second level of support that I've got penciled in for any miner. Maybe one, but not even. 0.2, no. And this chart isn't normal. I'm talking about the ones that are going to test their support are the ones like maybe the ones that have just made new highs and support is prior resistance. But when it comes to Aris mining, that's not necessarily the case. Okay, next one, IAM Gold. Huge move. You know, it's had good news, just screamed up before. I thought it got tired. It did get tired. I don't think I bought any back. Or if I did, it was so light. I think I didn't buy any back. Up it goes, new highs. That's, you know, the ones that have just had good news, they're always the ones that move up the most in the short term. So resistance, $6. It's done that. I trimmed at $5.99. I remember that because it's not worth as much as the others, but I still sold it. Then I started to look out. I did these resistance today just to see what there is. Yeah, so that's just to show you how I got to that. I think it's all correct. Now it's a question of whether we go there, and if we do, how much do you sell? And I'm just trimming small amounts, tiny amounts, but just to make sure I've been there, done that, and got the t-shirt. So $5.99 I've got in six, probably got 619 or something in there. 634, and then whatever this is, 649 sell. Yeah. Support is just going to be the old resistance, which was resistance up until before today, 559-ish. If we keep going lower, then for sure 5. And if we keep going low, we're not going to, but 440, unless there's some bad personal business news specific to the stock, 450. There you go. That's your support. That's your resistance. B2 Gold, amazing. I mean, okay, up 4% is for B2 Gold. That's quite good. But again, we've just seen the one before, which is up 17%. But still, this is very relevant, though. Very relevant. On the technicals, we've taken out the descending where we did that. We've never done that before. We took out the descending today and the horizontal that follows. Remember, it's always about the two. We did that today for the first time ever. And it's just had good news, you know, recently in the last couple of weeks, it's basically made a good deal with the Mali government, which was its biggest thorn in its paw. So for me, you've got every single star aligned. Yes, you could have some shocking news come out of Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger, you know, the alliance they have, and they just say, that's it, screw the Western companies, we don't care. Our deals mean nothing, or what we said weeks ago mean nothing. We're just nationalizing, we're commandeering this mine, you know, which they don't know how to operate. So it can go down. I'm just going to cover the resistance on the way up. First is 380 up here. Next would be all the way up here, 430. Do we have anything in between? Not really. You know, I don't even see anything at 4. And since this should really squeeze, I'm going to leave that as it is. I don't want to start looking for lines that are either not there or they're there, but they're not very strong and they'll be taken out in 15 minutes. So why sell? So yeah, resistance today. But this, funny enough, is neither resistance nor support because we're too close. So for me, support is going to be here, the retest of the descending breakout, and that's it. You know, that's kind of it. I mean, I'm tempted to say that this 340 is support, but kind of there. So, you know, we're 346. What are you going to do? Buy a 6-cent drop? You could buy a 15-cent drop if it goes down to like low 330s. But otherwise, again, this would be worrying. It would be strange to see it come all the way back down. It'd either have to be company specific or something really strange going on with silver, like a total fake out on Monday from a perfect day on Friday. Wouldn't really make too much sense. There you go. I'm not going to cover anything more than that on the support on the way down. Equinox. Now, Equinox had bad news. I didn't have time to look into it all. Good dip buying candidate, in my opinion. Equinox long term, absolutely going to 9, 50, 10, 13, all that stuff. Long term, huh? I see that happening because of management, because I think they have a debt problem, which the price of gold will resolve. So, whatever this bad news was, I think that was a good buying opportunity. I didn't do it. I didn't do it because I just, like I said, I have so much in stock. Like Equinox was down yesterday. To be honest, yesterday was a weird day. There was Equinox down, one or two down. The others were sort of flat. It was like a sideways day. But again, the amount I had in miners, the value is just excruciatingly high. And today it's just I sold what I made today, which is a lot, but it's still the same problem on Monday. I need to sell more than I make on Monday. If we go up like if I make let's say 5K on Monday, I need to sell 10. I need to end up with less money in miners than I started with, whether we go up or down. Okay, Equinox though, that was cool. That was a good reversal. It was up not too much intraday like all of them, and then it had a good sort of, by the end of it, it's up almost 6%. After hours, it's actually down a little bit after hours, but okay. Support for me, support is going to be the low here, but we have support before then, thankfully, here, 555-ish. That's the low, also the low of today's candle. It's probably 561, but 555, I'll leave it there. It kind of filled the gap. So where's your resistance? Well, resistance is kind of gap fill where we touched already. And to be honest, if we take out Friday's high of 580, we're probably going to go way higher. So I'm going to leave it there at 580. So 579 if you want to sell on Monday, which you shouldn't, to be honest. After that, it's $6. So that's your resistance, 580, $6. And then the old high up here is 650. Pretty simple at the end of it. But today's candle was pretty important. And it makes sense that it didn't go all the way up here. It's just asking a bit too much after bad news to get back to where you were before the bad news. That's asking quite a lot. So a bit like CD, it'll be 1 or 2 days behind, but it's nothing that a nice pump in the gold or silver price can't fix. Yeah, this ascending support always comes into play, but I don't see us going back down anymore. I just don't see it happening. I mean, to these levels down here. You know what, Equinox, maybe it's worth seeing what's after 650. I've got $7. Well, that's pretty difficult, isn't it? 750 and then 9. Okay. Well, we've got time to check that out. Okay, SSRM. Beautiful, beautiful. Sometimes it looks like the strongest, sometimes it just looks average. But okay, new high, new 52-week high. Is it 52 weeks? I know it probably isn't actually. But you know what I mean. Since the bear market, since the mudslide, we took out 620. We closed above 620. We're in after hours, still above 620. Beautiful thing. That was your resistance. Now there's no real resistance. Like I said, 657, 758. Once you get to 8, it depends how long it takes. You're starting to encounter massively long-term descending resistance. Such strong selling power should appear there. So I don't think you should start looking above 8. Depends how long it takes to get there. But I'm just working in 50-cent increments. So my first sell is going to be at 649, then 699, then 749, then 799. And then around 799, I'll start looking at it again and selling more maybe. And if I feel like it's going to roll over and flush, I'll sell more even lower than my last sell, right? Lower than my last sell. I see it coming down. Oh shit. Okay. Let's drop the sell here. It's gonna flush the next 1 or 2 weeks. But for now, it looks beautiful. So yeah, support is going to be 620. I wouldn't buy that, but that is your first level since we took it out. Next support. I don't know, 590. I see something at 590. Maybe $6. Oh God, I don't know. Between 590 and $6, if I'm allowed to say that. Just see this, a lot of resistance, 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 resistance. Also bottom of this candle. Yeah, okay, something like that. And then all the way down here. I don't see us going down there. Forget it. That's your support on the way down. I'm not really sure about this one. Between $6 and 5.90. Well, if you're really desperate, buy at 601 and then give it some room to 5.92 or something. Now, okay, I've covered after that and support, I've covered that. We're not going to go much lower than that. All right. Lastly, not really a gold and silver stock, but it was up 9% and I covered it anyway. And it looked like it followed general commodities and gold and silver. It does. So SBSW, it hit support 2 days ago, rebounds back up. Next up is 470. That's what you're looking for, 470. So sell at 469. I'm not doing that. I think we can go higher. Where's your next higher? It's up here, $5. Sell at 497 or something in case. And then it keeps going, and you got your 590 zone, which has not been surpassed in a long time. We take that out. We are running, but it's a long time till then. All right, look, that'll do. It was an amazing, amazing day. I read one comment from someone on StockTwits or something. Nothing special. They just said, "This is the happiest day of my life." I thought, you know what? I think I understand. I don't know if it's the happiest day of my life, and I find it quite hard to express myself quickly. For me, it takes time to realize how good of a day it was because it was, I'm sure for you guys too, incredible for profits, like new all-time highs in the portfolio. That's been happening anyway, day by day. But this is a serious pump up already when it was at highs like the day before. So it's beautiful. Now I'm thinking more about risk management. I want to confirm these profits so that if we have a drop, it's like I never go back down to old levels. I just want it to be a new floor, a level up. I want to be a level higher than I ever was before. I'm already there, and I still think we're going to go up more on Monday. But I'm telling you what, Monday, Tuesday, I will be trimming to guarantee this level of profitability stays because if I can have a lot of money on the sidelines, type of money on the sidelines that I never had before, because I'd always be heavily invested. Well, here I can be just as heavily invested as I ever was, even more, and still have more money on the sidelines than I ever did. And that cushion of comfort, that the amount I gain from interest too, right? Because it's like 5% on interactive brokers when you got over 100K. I mean, you're just raking in money whilst having loads on the sidelines, and you kind of want miners to go down, but right now they just keep going up, and the profit's brilliant. Anyway, I might do another video. I don't even know what it's going to be about this weekend to cover the stocks, maybe other stocks, right? Because right now I'm just covering my portfolio. Maybe I'll cover some other stocks and take a look at silver and gold or something like that in a different perspective. But I hope this one is sufficient for this historical week and Friday. All right, have a good weekend.